the conceptual penis as a social construct. We conclude that penises are not best understood as the male sexual organ or as a male reproductive organ, but instead as an enacted social construct that is both damaging and problematic for society and future generations. The conceptual penis presents significant problems for gender identity and reproductive identity within social and family dynamics, is exclusionary to disenfranchised communities based upon gender or reproductive identity, is an enduring source of abuse for women and other gender-marginalized groups and individuals, is the universal performative source of rape, and is the conceptual driver behind much of climate change. Inasmuch as masculinity is essentially performative, so too is the conceptual penis. The penis, in the words of Judith Butler, quote, can only be understood through reference to what is barred from the signifier within the domain of corporeal legibility, Butler, 1993. The penis should not be understood as an honest expression of the performer's intent should it be presented in a performance of masculinity or hypermasculinity. Thus, the isomorphism between the conceptual penis and what's referred to throughout discursive feminist literature as, quote, toxic hypermasculinity is one defined upon a vector of male cultural machismo braggadocio, with the conceptual penis playing the roles of subject, object, and verb of action. The result of this trichotomy of roles is to place hypermasculine men both within and outside of competing discourses, whose dynamics, as seen via post-structuralist discourse analysis, enact a systematic interplay of power in which hypermasculine men use the conceptual penis to move themselves from powerless subject positions to powerful ones. It is also observable in the hyper-male performative behavioral trope of, quote, manspreading, that is, inconsiderately spreading his legs too widely in public, for example, on public transport such as planes, trains, and automobiles, especially subways and buses. The usual excuse given for manspreading is centered directly in the conceptual penis as a male social discourse. The anatomical penis and testicles are attributed as needing space in order to facilitate the male individual's, quote, comfort. This behavior, seen from the perspective of the conceptual penis as a performative social construct, is clearly a dominating occupation of physical space, akin to raping the empty space around him. That is best understood via the machismo braggadocio isomorphism to toxic hypermasculinity. Climate change and the conceptual penis. Nowhere are the consequences of hypermasculine machismo braggadocio, isomorphic identification with the conceptual penis, more problematic than concerning the issue of climate change. Climate change is driven by nothing more than by certain damaging themes in hypermasculinity that can be best understood via the dominant rapacious approach to climate ecology identifiable within the conceptual penis. Our planet is rapidly approaching the much warned about 2 degrees centigrade climate change threshold, and due to the patriarchal power dynamics that maintain present capitalist structures, especially with regard to the fossil fuel industry, the connection between hypermasculine dominance of scientific, political, and economic discourses and the irreparable damage to our ecosystem is made clear. Destructive, unsustainable, hegemonically male approaches to pressing environmental policy and action are the predictable results of a raping of nature by a male-dominated mindset. This mindset is best captured by recognizing the role the conceptual penis holds over masculine psychology. When it is applied to our natural environment, especially virgin environments that can be cheaply despoiled for their material resources and left dilapidated and diminished when our patriarchal approaches to economic gain have stolen their inherent worth, the extrapolation of the rape culture inherent in the conceptual penis becomes clear. At best, climate change is genuinely an example of hyper-patriarchal society metaphorically manspreading into the global ecosystem.